Glory, glory, Man United.
Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. As the Reds go marching on.
So, we all saw last Man United season. It was, how do I say this correctly? Really bad. Not funny bad, not they tried their best bad, more like how are they this bad after spending that much money kind of bad. 15th place, only 44 goals all season, and for the first time in over a decade, no Champions League, no Europa League, not even Conference League. Hi, I'm Max, and this is La Pausa. Here, we don't just watch football, we try to understand it. And yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm not one of those people who just enjoy bashing United for the clicks. Quite the opposite actually, I've been a fan my whole life. Which is why it's honestly painful to see what the club has become. So let's take a closer look at Manchester United. What exactly went wrong? What's changed ahead of the new season? And can Manchester United finally stop being a meme and start being a football club again? Let's be honest, this didn't happen overnight. Manchester United haven't just had a bad year, they've had a full decade of them. Since Sir Alex retired in 2013, the club has become a perfect storm of bad ownership, worse decision making, and pure chaos. So let's unpack the main reasons things got this bad. It all starts at the top. The Glazers took over United in 2005 through a leveraged buyout, basically buying the club with the club's own money. Ever since, United have been drowning in debt while the owners regularly pulled out dividends. And while fans were begging for a rebuild, the Glazers were busy renovating hospitality lounges. Classic priorities. Fast forward to 2024, Sir Jim Ratcliffe buys a 27.7% stake in the club and injects £240 million to keep things afloat. Great, right? Well, kind of. The club still posted £300 million in losses over the previous 3 years. Then came the job cuts, including shutting down the staff canteen. Yes, Manchester United, the third richest club in the world, closed the canteen. And no, that's not a metaphor. Thousands of fans protested in March 2025, marching against both Ratcliffe and the Glazers. Because let's be real, even with the new money, the model hasn't changed. Profit still comes before trophies. You know it's bad when ESPN describes your transfer policy as panic-driven. Remember the post-Ten Hag meltdown in 2022? United dropped over £150 million in 1 week on Casemiro and Antony. How's that working out? Exactly. To be fair, there are signs of change. Under the new CEO Omar Berrada, the club pulled out of overpriced deals and tried to act more responsibly. But let's not pretend that that erases a decade of financial madness. The wage bill is still inflated, FFP is breathing down their necks, and the squad is a weird mix of stars, Deadwood, and maybe he'll come good next year projects. But honestly, even the good players haven't had much of a chance. When the club changes managers every couple of seasons, each one with a different style, different demands, and their own list of transfer targets, it's hard for anyone to settle. Add in a fractured dressing room, constant media pressure, and the feeling that no one's really in control, and it becomes almost impossible to build any kind of momentum. Which brings us to the next issues. Since Fergie left, United have gone through 5 permanent managers: Moyes, Van Gaal, Marino, Ole, Ten Hag, plus a bunch of interim guys. Hi Ralph Rangnick, we hardly knew you. No one has lasted more than 3 years. Every new coach has brought a new philosophy, new signings, and a new set of promises. And every time, it ends the same. Chaos, leaks, and the old players lost the dressing room storyline. The current man in charge, Ruben Amorim, is the 9th manager, including caretakers, in 11 years. That's not a project, that's a job opening on LinkedIn. Dressing room? More like bomb squad. Reports say the dressing room is split. Some players want out, others are out of form, and a few are just straight up out of the squad. According to The Guardian, Garnacho, Sancho, Antony, and Malaysia were all told to train separately at 5 p.m. They've literally been called the bomb squad. Not ideal when you're trying to rebuild. In short, United's decline isn't just about one bad season. It's the result of long-term neglect, mismanagement, and a complete failure to modernize. The money was there, the talent was sometimes there, but without structure, stability, or a real plan, none of it worked. Alright, so we've covered why the club collapsed. Now let's look at what's actually changed, because something has to shift, right? Ruben Amorim is now entering his first full season at the helm. He said publicly he wants to stay at United for the next 20 years, if given time. That's a bold claim, especially after a 15th place finish, but it shows he's aiming for long-term impact, not 5 months of damage control. Here's what he told reporters just before pre-season. Yeah, I want to stay. I want to stay 20 years. That is my goal, and I truly believe in that. Always do. Something will happen. In some moments, I will be lucky. I had a lot of luck during my career as a manager, and my idea is to stay for many years. But again, we know that the results will dictate that. I know that last season I used up all the credits, but I'm ready to start fresh. If you look, Sporting was the same thing. They said that in 3 months, I'm out. They said I had a 3% chance of winning a title. It was the same thing. Amorim clearly set a new tone during pre-season in the US. He scrapped Ten Hag-style strict routines like double sessions, opting instead of reward professionalism, morning fitness, and lunch, team bonding in the afternoon. The result, according to reports, was better than expected fitness levels and a more adult, trusting environment. Amorim is trying to blend experience with youth. Youngsters like Cheeto Obi, Toby Collier, and Aiden Heaven took first-team minutes last term, and more are expected to get their chance in mass loans and progression this season. Next, transfer strategy and financial reality. Despite selling tickets and cutting staff, United still managed a huge summer. So far, Matthias Cunha, £62.5 million, Brian Mbeumo, up to £71 million, and now they've agreed a deal for RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko for around £65 million plus add-ons. That pushes total spending to over £200 million on attack alone, as United chased goals after just 44 in the league last season. All this while grappling with staff cutbacks, stadium plans costing £2 billion, and a reported £100 million hole in revenue after missing out on Europe next season. A major overhaul of scouting and recruitment is underway too. Under new CEO Omar Berrada, the club is revamping its recruitment structure, hiring fresh scouts, and dumping outdated data systems. Ratcliffe's involvement remains the headline. He still holds 27 to 28%, and Glazers remain majority owners. Debt and dividends continue, so nothing structurally has changed in their ownership model. But Ratcliffe has pushed for cost discipline, staff cuts, closed canteen, and refusals to overpay for players like Branthwaite earlier in the window. Plans for a new 100,000-seat stadium, dubbed New Trafford, are also progressing, though heavily dependent on government urban regeneration projects. There's movement, but whether it's momentum, we'll see. So here's the big question. Is there actually a way back? Can Manchester United close the gap to teams like City, Arsenal, or Liverpool? Let's look around. City had what they'd call a bad season, and still finished above United by 20 plus points. They've reloaded with new signings, Pep's still in charge, and the squad remains ridiculous. You already know they're coming back angry. Arsenal? They finished second 3 years in a row. This summer, they brought in Zubimendi and Norgard for midfield control, and they're pushing for Gyökeres up front. It's a proper title project, not vibes. And then there's Liverpool. Champions last season, Wirtz, Frimpong, Ekitike, Kerkez. Onslaught might be new, but the squad depth is scary. They're not just defending the crown, they're upgrading. Meanwhile, United are rebuilding. Again. Let's not sugarcoat it. The gap is huge, and it's not just about players. It's about structure, consistency, identity. Other clubs know who they are. United are still figuring it out. So what do the numbers say? Opta ran 10,000 simulations. In most of them, United finished 12th, just 49 points. Top 4 chances, 2.7%. Relegation odds, 5%. Not likely, but not impossible either. Another model, BetC, is a bit more generous. It puts United 9th with 54 points. So where does that leave us? Well, somewhere in between probably. There are real changes happening. Amorim isn't a tourist, he's trying to build something serious. Transfers make more sense now. The club isn't overpaying every time. Youth players are getting chances. There's a plan. But plans mean nothing without results. And the truth is, while United are trying to find their feet, the competition is sprinting ahead. So yeah, I want to believe. I want to believe in Amorim, in this whole thing. But until results actually show up, it's all still just hope. Alright, that's it for today. Let me know what you think in the comments. Can United actually turn this around under Amorim, or is this just another false dawn? I'm Max. This is La Pausa. Check out shorts from Alex as well. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, maybe subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers!